Did I do that?
Okay, I'm doing an entry for Caleb's Cards 800 subscriber 5 favorite autographs contest, and I couldn't figure out 5. I have 7 here, but I will show you the top 5, I believe, and then I'll just show you the other ones as a bonus. Almost every single one of these, except for one item, are framed. Let me just move the camera a little bit up here. I think that'll help a little bit. There we go. So the first one I'm going to show you here is probably the favorite of the whole stack. This was a picture I found on the floor at a Goodwill outlet store, or bin store as people would call it. It was on the floor, and then I found some more pictures in the bin, and then no sooner did I grab those than the employee came in and took the row away and replaced it with new merchandise. But I have since framed this. Let's see if we can get this all on camera here. This is Charles Bolden, African-American astronaut, and I couldn't believe somebody would just drop something like this on the floor and treat all these NASA pictures with disrespect. I'd never seen NASA pictures before, or never had the opportunity to buy them because I didn't know where you would get them, and so I sent it directly in to NASA. He was the head administrator, or whatever you call it. I can't think of it right now. And it says, "To Henry, best wishes for success increasing your stamp collection, Charles F. Bolden, I think Jr., 8/27/10." And that got me started on my major NASA project. And so just finding an autograph on the floor that cost, I mean, it was not an autograph, I mean a picture for autograph on the floor, and this picture cost me the frame actually cost me more than the picture. I think the picture was probably like 5 cents to buy that. So that's my first amazing autograph of 5. The next one here, you can see the dust. I hope you can see the dust on the top of the frame there. This has been hanging up for many, many, many years. This is a group called Those Darn Accordions. And every time they would play in my area, I would go and see them. It was usually a free concert. And there's all the darn accordions at that time. This guy's a leader of the band, I believe. And they're all accordion players. They were actually featured or toured with Weird Al at one point. I think they were out of Seattle at this point. I'm not sure. They're from the Bay Area and Seattle and all points in between. This Clyde Foreman, I rudely interrupted his lunch because the guy said, "Oh yeah, he's just over there. He'll get his autograph," and he was in the middle of eating, and that was one of my earlier IP things. And Dave the bass signed it. I think I got everybody on there to sign it. But it was a really awesome, and I have several of their CDs. So if you have never checked out Those Darn Accordions, this has to be mid-90s, I'm sure of it. This is a long time ago. But I framed it in one of those old cheaper kind of document frames. This is also super old. I think my brothers had a picture in this frame at one point. I think maybe like a Nolan Ryan picture. I don't mean this large wooden frame. But when you're a kid and that's all you have, or when you're, you just don't know where to get frames, you don't want to go spend 10, 15 bucks on a frame. I drove all the way to the Portland Boat Show for this back in, when was this? 1997. 97. There was no eBay or internet back then very much. Well, there was internet, but not very much. This is a Baywatch star, Donna de Areco, for some of the later Baywatch episodes. To Henry, keep watching the show. Lots of love, Donna de Areco. And a lot of people were behind me in line having her autograph magazines and stuff like that. I won't go into any much of that, but I just thought this was cool. And the boat show was not really exciting. A lot of expensive things I couldn't afford, but I know a free autograph when I saw it, and it took me over an hour to get there. And I think parking was probably about $4 or $5 at the Expo Center. I think that's where it was, Portland Expo Center. And I know it's from 1997 because I kept the original flyer and taped it into the back of the frame. I did not know that until just yesterday when I took this off the wall. And I even used some pins to hold up the little tab there. So there's that, and you can pause that if you want and read all that. So that's really kind of cool. The next one is also in a frame, and I met this guy in person as well and talked to him for about 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour. This guy actually lives in Oregon, and this is Don Pedro collie, and this was signed in 2015. And you might wonder who Don Pedro collie is. Well, he played Sheriff Little on Dukes of Hazzard, the original series, and that's really awesome. This is just in a frame that I found at a thrift store for 50 cents. 50-cent frames are the way to go, and this is always sitting in my dining room at my house, and I just had a nice talk with him and some other person that was there with him. I don't remember. She gave me her business card for whatever business that was, some group or singing type thing, but that was just a fun IP event at my first Comic-Con, and there's no notes on the back of the frame. We'll do these two, and then we'll do one more. And sorry about that, the background was slipping and I had to try to find some way to deal with this glare here. This next picture was signed by Dave Nori in 2014. He's a former BMX bicyclist out of Ashland, Oregon, I believe, and he runs a I don't know, a summer camp for BMXing or something like that, so that's kind of cool. He was a trick rider back in the 80s and 90s, I believe, and I just really loved this picture, found it online, printed it, and it came out really, really well. It was a two-time attempt to have him sign that, but I was a huge enthusiast of BMXing. I never did a lot of tricks, and I had a really low-end bike which has since gone to the dump years and years ago, which saddened me to no end. I have a couple of BMXs that I purchased and got a little bit back into it. One of my favorite bikes, the back wheel broke somehow and it's not repairable, but I'll try to get some tires on the other one. Anyway, so that's really cool. I liked that one for that particular reason and just thought it was really cool, and I didn't see anybody else who had gotten him in. I just thought it was a cool success and really neat looking picture, a very high quality. The next one here I have another framed picture. This one says James Best Enterprises on the back of it, and if you know anything about James Best, he was most famous for his role as Sheriff Roscoe in Dukes of Hazzard. And this is the second Dukes of Hazzard. I'm sorry, Flash has a flat light on his eye there. James Best signed it via his website when he was alive. That's just a pre-printed right there. He's written Roscoe on there. He's died about 3 or 4 years ago. And I think I got this as a birthday present. I'm not 100% sure. Or a birthday or Christmas present. I just thought it would be a good chance to get him before he passed on. I know Cooter, the guy who played Cooter, I can't think of his name right now. He had a website for a while and signed autographs. I can't find that at the moment. John Schneider would sign items for you too, I guess, but I'll have to look into that. But that's kind of an autograph that I've had for a few years, and I really like that one. The last one here is not necessarily my favorite one, but it's one of the more important ones, because back in the early days of TTM and autographing, we had Autograph Weekly, and we had all these guys collecting books and book plates. And you never see that anymore. The whole book collecting community has kind of disappeared. Zane Savage got me started in that, and it got me looking for people that I watched when I was a kid, and I didn't necessarily enjoy this guy. Very dusty, but I appreciated him, and also my folks watched him a lot on PBS. So we had Louis Rukeyser, What's Ahead for the Economy, The Challenge, and The Chance. And I got this on Abe Books, I want to say, and it was not very much. It was less than $10 probably, and it is signed Good Luck Louis Rukeyser right in the front there. If you don't know who he is a big Wall Street. He had Wall Street Week. And I always enjoyed the theme song for whatever reason, with the ticker tape or the the teletype machine in the background. And I just thought it was cool, and it was neat to have a signed book. And it's not a book plate, which is on there. It's not signed to anyone. I'm pretty sure that's real. His autograph is not super rare, but it's harder and harder to find it because he has passed on probably about 10 years ago. I just thought that was a cool addition to my book. And I've had this for at least 5 years. I may have never shown this on YouTube. Many of these items were purchased or gotten way before I even started. So that is my 5, more or less 5. And if I had to pick the top 5, it would be that Charles Bolden, the Donna de Areco, the Darn Accordions, and this one, and maybe all the IP ones in this one. Let's put it that way. So there's that. Hope you got a little bit of information out of the video. I know I had several interruptions and it probably screwed it up there, but hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.
Wall Street Week.